My name's John Brazier. I'm going to talk about our paper Lower Extremity Stiffness, Considerations for Testing, Performance Enhancement and Injury Risk. Firstly, I'd like to thank Sean, Chris, Paul and Anthony for all their hard work in bringing the paper together. So why did we do it? Well, force-deformation characteristics of the lower limb have been associated with athletic performance and may modulate the risk of injury. However, in spite of this, measurements of stiffness are not commonly administered by the strength and conditioning coach. Therefore, we wanted to review the literature and give some practical applications for the testing and performance enhancement of lower extremity stiffness. As we wanted this paper to be as practically focused as possible, while stiffness could be measured at a variety of levels within the leg, such as the tendon, muscle fibre, joint and even at the cellular level, we focused on global measures of stiffness, namely vertical and leg stiffness, as these are the most practically viable to test within a strength and conditioning field-based setting. So the paper starts by giving definitions and applications of stiffness, as to when and how it could be used, and Table 1 gives a classification of stiffness, the appropriate terms and the formula for vertical stiffness, leg stiffness and joint stiffness. What did we find then from the literature in regards to performance? Well, high levels of stiffness were associated with shorter ground contact times during sprinting, change of direction, jumping and hopping tasks. Furthermore, increased lower extremity stiffness related to increased hopping and jumping height, and it was also shown to enhance takeoff velocity during jumping, as well as improving track and field throwing performance. However, results suggest there appears to be an appropriate amount of stiffness, as a number of studies noted that too much lower extremity stiffness had a negative impact on vertical jump height, especially during high drop jump tasks around 80 to 100 centimetres, and a more compliant leg was found to increase jump height in a number of studies. Thus, the amount of lower extremity stiffness required to perform an athletic task depends upon the aims, i.e. are you going for maximum height or fast execution, and the type of activity, i.e. are you running, jumping, hopping, for example. In regards to injury, high levels of stiffness were associated with increased likelihood of lower extremity injury, in part due to increased peak forces, shock and reduced joint motion. However, too little stiffness was associated with excessive joint motion, which may contribute to soft tissue injury risk, such as ACL rupture. So, therefore, the relationship between lower extremity stiffness and injury is unclear. However, it's plausible to suggest that an optimal level exists, as there appears to be risk with either too much or too little stiffness. Stiffness appears important for performance and may play a role in injury risk, so it could be an important area to monitor in training and testing. Lower extremity stiffness is commonly measured during hopping and drop jump tasks with the use of force plates to assess ground reaction forces. This therefore makes it inaccessible for a number of strength and conditioning coaches who don't have access to this equipment. However, recent advances in technology mean the S&C coach can purchase Pasco force plates for around £500, making it a little bit more accessible. However, if this is still not an option in terms of it being too expensive, a number of valid alternative methods have been studied in the literature, with the use of jump mats, infrared technology, treadmills with high-speed cameras, and even iPhone technology, therefore making the measurement of lower extremity stiffness a little bit more accessible for the strength and conditioning coach. In regards to training effects, the literature contains a variety of differing populations, phenotypes tested, and distinct methodological protocols, which therefore makes interpretation complex. So presently, specific recommendations are inappropriate. However, that said, it seems numerous training interventions can positively impact lower extremity stiffness across a variety of populations. The good news is that comprehensive conditioning programs are likely to be developing lower extremity stiffness in the right manner, as a variety of training interventions have shown augmentations in lower extremity stiffness, such as isometric, eccentric, dynamic resistance training, as well as plyometric training. Specifically, multi-joint strength exercises such as squats, deadlifts, snatches, cleans using high loads up to 90% 1RM appear to be required. Additionally, low load, high velocity training may also induce benefits to lower extremity stiffness from exercises such as jump squats using 0 to 30% 1RM. From the literature, it appears that complex training may provide a potent stimulus and may be more effective than singular training modes in the development of lower extremity stiffness. And on table 2, we've provided a number of exercises and their potential aims in regards to improving lower extremity stiffness. And finally, it's important for the strength and conditioning coach to understand that the optimal technique for improving lower extremity stiffness. If there is excessive flexion at the ankle, knee and hip, the moment arm of the vertical ground reaction forces will increase and therefore stiffness will decrease. So making your athletes aware of minimising joint flexion, particularly knee flexion at the point of ground contact, is fundamental. Basic jump cues have been shown to enhance lower extremity stiffness, such as jump high a little faster. However, a cautionary note should be added here, as recommendations for injury prevention programs advocate softer landings as they decrease peak vertical ground reaction forces. Therefore, soft landing training should also be incorporated into conditioning programs, and appropriate coaching cues for soft landings could be terms such as quiet landings, spongy landings, or my personal favourite, ninja landings. And furthermore, the coach should also seek to give the athlete context as to when stiff and soft ground contacts are appropriate to avoid injury and enhance performance. Finally, a nice technical model to improve athlete technique when lower extremity stiffness is required has been produced by Flanagan and Coombs, and which is presented here, or an adapted version here on table 3, but you can get to the original source, which is number 30 on the reference page of this paper. And that is my audio abstract. Thank you for listening.